How do you like to introduce Bitcoin to future Bitcoiners? I don't. I used to try, but I don't bother with it anymore. And similar to good news traveling slow, it has to be a very slow process. And I think that, other than YouTube trying to shit on my channel, I think that the reason why this channel has grown like it has is because they're longer conversations. They're not just, this happened in Paraguay, so Bitcoin's going to go up. That's not going back to this again. Like, I want you to really think about this. When we see things here, and when I talk about things on the show, such as, Paraguay opening up a brand new mining facility, we understand the implications of that. As Bitcoiners, we're like, okay, well, that's good. More people are mining. There's going to be more demand for it. Cool. But somebody who's not in Bitcoin, first of all, they're never going to see that headline. And when they do, they're like, okay, well, what's Paraguay doing? That doesn't make any sense to me, because they don't understand it. They don't understand the implications of that in Paraguay, implications of Bitcoiners. They don't understand that. But if they see that BlackRock's wallet got hacked, everybody sees that. And everybody's talking about it. And everybody's like, whoa, that's not good news for Bitcoin. And the price goes down. And then we're like, what? Okay, so we see all these different things every day. MicroStrategy's buying Bitcoin, Blocks DCAing their gross profits every month into Bitcoin. Public countries are buying Bitcoin, but the price never goes up because only Bitcoiners care, and Bitcoiners already own Bitcoin. So that's kind of the dilemma that we're in right now, is that Bitcoin, bad news travels like wildfire and good news travels slow. That's what we're living through right now. So it's tough. It's tough because it takes a lot of time. It's tough because we're going to have to go through these bad events that wake people up to it. But it's good because over time, there's no way around that happening. So if you're patient enough, if you have a long enough time horizon here, you're going to see all the benefits of that. But in terms of introducing Bitcoin to future Bitcoiners, to me, you can't. You really can't. But what I was going back to there is that these are longer conversations. You can go further into things and explain, because of this mine here in Paraguay, this is what happened. Or because this country printed a bunch of money, whatever it is, we can have longer conversations here. And that's what it takes to actually, first of all, people have to have an open mind to it. They have to have lived through something that opened their mind to the possibility of a new currency of the world. That's the first part. And that's why you never try to force it on down anybody's throats, is because unless they have an open mind to it, they're not going to hear a word that you say. So keep that in mind, is that people, first of all, have to have an open mind, but then they have to talk about it and feel it. And whether that's an hour or a 2 or a 3 hour conversation, you have to go deep with them and kind of explain the history of it, the problems with the fiat system, the benefits of Bitcoin, why it's going to work, why it's impossible to stop, why you can use Bitcoin to prevent governments freezing your assets, how that happens. You have to walk them through this whole thing. It's not something they can just watch a 10-minute video about on YouTube that you can send them and say, okay, well, you should understand Bitcoin now. So do you want to start buying? Because, think about for yourself how many hours you spent in Bitcoin, learning about Bitcoin, how many different components there are within Bitcoin to learn, how many different rabbit holes there are. This stuff takes time. And so it's not something that you just say, you should buy some Bitcoin, watch this 1 hour video of Michael Saylor talking, and expect anybody to give a shit about that or understand a word that they're talking about. Or Jeff Booth. Imagine somebody who spent their whole life living in the fiat system. You send them a video of Jeff Booth and they're like, okay, I didn't understand a fucking word that he said. So now I'm even more confused. This guy's crazy. Jeff Booth is crazy. And I'm going back to my job. That's how it is. And it's hard to really understand that once you're at this point in Bitcoin, because you've seen it all. You've heard it 10 different ways, 20 different ways. And so when you hear people like Jeff Booth talk, you kind of comprehend what he's saying there. But even for me, and this is what I keep going back to, is like, I experienced this. I've been in Bitcoin for 4 or 5 years now. 7 or 8 hours of like podcast videos, immersing myself in Bitcoin. And even when I listened to Jeff Booth for the first couple times, I didn't understand what he was talking about in terms of costs fall to the, whatever he says there. I don't even know now. But I get it now because I've heard it 10, 50, and 20 times different ways by different people. But I get it now. It doesn't make sense that technology is improving. The costs of everything is going down. We have way less labor now, but for some reason, the costs to us are going up. That doesn't make any sense to me. But the average person, I don't think really understands that. The Grinder says, that's the way you can only attempt to orange pill your friends and family for so long before you have to let it go. It's bad for the relationships. They all know that you know about Bitcoin and they will come to you when they're ready. Absolutely. Great advice there. Great advice.